Good afternoon, everybody. And today, first of all, I just want to say thank you for the views on the first podcast. It was awesome. So here we go with the second one. Today, I just want to talk a little bit about leadership. As always, I love leadership. To me, it's not just a word; it's an art and a science. And if anybody is a true leader, they understand that it is an art and science combined. So basically, a combination of art and science. But today, I want to talk a little bit about communication. So, communication, especially in the workplace, is incredibly important. But with so many people involved, think about that, all with different personalities and varying levels of understanding. Some people may understand you, some people may not. So communication can be difficult and misunderstanding. But when this happens, this can arise a lot of other issues, like workplaces can be hectic places where messages are flying left, right, and center. And that's a prime territory for miscommunication and people misunderstanding what anybody is saying to each other, sometimes even from when it comes from the top. So how you need to communicate in the workplace varies, right? A little according to your job responsibilities. Those differ sometimes in whether you have responsibility for and authority over certain other staff members. It's also important to realize that you only have authority insofar as you can get people to follow you, and of course that's where leadership comes in. If they follow you, you're a good leader. Uh, a lot of things can happen. People can just feel comfortable coming to you and talking to you, or because if they don't even feel comfortable talking to you, then you're going to have a very difficult time dealing with people. Uh, Treat people like individuals. Treat them like individuals. Everyone has different needs and different personalities. Different people will react well to slightly different approaches. It's good if you can find out what approaches work well for your colleagues and employees that way. Um, you will get the most out of each interaction and everyone will be happier. It all comes down to communication skills, guys, or lack of them. It's completely your responsibility as a leader for making yourself understood, no matter how many times you have to try. And it's the other person's responsibility to let you know every time they don't understand something. Again, communication in the workplace relies upon those things. Now, there are a lot of techniques that can be taught or that one can learn. For me, it's been over 20 years in leadership roles. And trust me, at the beginning, I was just learning to be a leader. I started out as a manager for certain places, and I have to tell you that management is very different than leadership. Um, and a lot of the times, you have to understand people. Number one, number two, you have to get out there and talk to them, understand them, see who they are, impart your empathy, impart your humbleness with other people, understanding other people, walking other people's shoes. All of that has taken me over 20 years of doing. Obviously, education. Education plays a big part of it, but I have to tell you that even in college education, no matter what you have, PhD or master's or whatever, it doesn't compare to real life experience. A lot of things is you're not taught in college or any university. Even in PhD programs, you are not taught real life experiences with people because there are so many personalities, so many variations of communication. And a true leader will understand that, just like there's different theories of leadership. I came up with one, and I call it the Evans style. And it's a variation of a lot of the theories that are out there. As you know, leadership has been around for thousands of years, but you know what the Evans style is all about, and we can talk about that in the next podcast. But it's just learning a variation of a lot of the very well-known theories out there or styles out there and bring them into one. And creating that style was not an easy task. And actually, I named it after one of my sons. just watching him, the things that he does and the things that I've actually learned from him have, I mean, the kid, he's 12 years old, and I have to tell you, he's incredible. Some of the stuff that I've seen him do are just like, it blows me away. And so, understanding other people makes you a good person, number one. Number two, if you're in a leadership role, that is going to be very, very important for you to learn. A leadership, like I said, is not just a word that can be thrown around. Leadership is truly an art and a science, and you have to understand people. But before you do that, you have to understand yourself, why you're the way you are, why you do the things that you do, and then start thinking about other people when you speak to them. And again, there's a lot of techniques, a lot of things that that I've learned, that I've taught. I've taught leadership at university levels, college levels, and business schools. And I have to tell you that it's great to talk about leadership. I love talking about leadership. I love seeing other people become true leaders. I mean, true leaders, not just someone that was given that position or given them a role of leadership. No, I'm talking about real leaders. I've worked with some great leaders. I've worked with some really, really crappy leaders too. And I can tell you that there's a big difference. You have to understand people. That's the main thing. Understand people, empathize with people, respect people, and treat them like individuals, and treat them like you want to be treated. Not because somebody else tells you to treat them a certain way. Treat them the way you want to be treated. All right, my friends. And with that, we'll talk about another side of leadership next time on my next podcast. Luciano Santini, and we'll talk soon. Thank you very much, and be safe. Lots of love.